Well, it's dark and moody and very intellectual in Dallas today. Okay, it's dark and moody for Dark Academia, which is one of our first collections we're going to share with you for Everyday 2026. Hi, I'm Leanne Moyers. It's actually beautiful in Dallas. We were downstairs by the letters. We got all checked in, got our name badges, and we're really excited to go over the first collection that we have of the 6 collections that Melrose is introducing for Everyday 2026. We're going to get started going around in here and just pointing out to you some of the new products that are here and showing you some of the features of them that maybe you're not going to pick up inside of the catalog, or things you just want to know about the trends that are coming for the future that you're not going to know unless you're prepared before you get into market. We're going to start right here with these umbralysis stems. We're actually bringing these in 2 different types of colors. This one here in Dark Academia, the first thing you're going to notice is that nice bronzy orange and that burnt orange color combined with the green. And this is something that you're going to see over and over and over through Dark Academia. We've got all the natural botanicals with all the different shades of the green, but we also have that burnt orange color. And you know why that is? Because last year when we were talking about ochre being blended into all of the color schemes that we have throughout all of the collections, we've done the same thing with the oranges. So as we blend that with that ochre color and we blend that with that green, we get this nice darker looking color that is warm and vibrant and definitely inviting. As we slide over on this table, we're going to look at a couple other new products that are coming in here from Melrose. These are the bronzed metal trays that are coming in that are a leaf. And we've got a lot of different detail here, but you're going to see 3 or 4 different colors here just with this one leaf tray. You're going to see a little bit of vibrance with the copper, the vein that is running along here. It's going to shine just a little bit. But then in through the leaf itself, you've got 3 or 4 different colors of browns and darks in there that are all blended, but it's all nice and warm. We no longer see the cold colors that we normally would have seen with something that was going to be black. The same thing's happening with the wood trends that we're seeing throughout the entire showroom. Warmer. We're still trending just a little bit warmer. So if you think about a few years ago, this would have been a nice light color wood, but we're seeing that darker look, and definitely in Dark Academia. Dark Academia is a collection that is about the enchantment. It's a collection that's about intelligence. It's a collection that's about the past and celebrating the past and things that we know from history and things that we learn, but also with a very modern upgrade. And so we celebrate the current and we celebrate the past both with Dark Academia. It's very smart. Everything's smart, and when we think about smarts, we think about books. And so a lot of the trend that you're going to see with Dark Academia, you're going to see people decorating their living room spaces. You're going to see them decorating their libraries, their hobby areas, and including things like this, like a planter that's going to come in that's going to look like a book, and then we're just going to put a nice little bundle in the top here. As we celebrate intelligence and we celebrate the world, the academia part comes into play, and that's why we have the globes here. And so we're going to see the coloring, like if we look here on this metal part of the coloring, again, look at that coloring right in there. You got that ochre color and you've got that burnt orange color in with the metal itself. This is not a flat black. You're not going to see the flat black here. It's going to have just a little bit of warmth to that coloring. A nice wooden base for that globe. And then this one here, we've got the copper color for the actual continents here. And then against the kind of a bronze. It's almost like a dark, dark bronze color that you're going to see here. You're going to see that throughout all 6 collections. You're going to see that continued warming tone that we kind of started with last year when we were talking about that ochre color, but we're seeing it even harder and we're seeing that even darker blended in with our tones that we have. You're going to see in the candle holders. So here's a new set of candle holders that we have here at Melrose. First thing you're going to notice, nice shaping, right? The shape is fantastic, but that wood tone is a little bit darker than what you would have seen before. The other thing that we're seeing is layers of texture. And so these book hideaways where you can hide your trinkets inside of, these are 2 of these that are available that are new, textured everywhere. Textured on the wood, on the side piece where it looks like it's the book, textured on the inside. This is actually fabric. This is not something that is printed flat. There's an actual fabric cover here for these pieces that are here. So we have the book. We have the intelligence, we have the academia, but we also have that nice textured feel. And the greens. We're celebrating some of academia that happens to be about the intelligence and reading and the intelligence of the imagination. And so we see a lot of enchantment. You remember the enchanted forest vine that we had 2 years ago? We've got a lot more coming in with that enchanted look with all of our greens that are coming in. So here we have the fern wreath that has a little bit of the mixed type of foliage in there. You're going to see a little bit of that viney piece back in the back there. This piece is coming in and is new for you. It's really layered in dark academia because you're kind of embracing that whole book talk trend that's coming along. Lots of people are celebrating the romanticy section of their life, like they're reading a lot of those books. If you go to the Amazon top 10 books every single week last year, you're seeing a lot of fantasy books that are in that top. And so for a lot of book talk followers, that intelligence, that reading, that making sure that you're using and stimulating your imagination falls into their fantasy category. And fantasy is, of course, the woodland forest and all of the things that your mind can conjure. The butterfly also is a nice icon for that. And so these two pieces that you see here on the wall, I want to point out the different colors because we look like we have a wood grain tone here, but it's got a nice copper bronze finish here, and then that aged look right here along with this beading that runs across of it. Love the prints. I mean, I just love these prints, and there are two different butterfly prints that are coming in that are new. They are eaches, but the frames themselves, beautiful little frames that are coming in. As we start to go across some of the other new products that are available, we do have some of that whimsy. So every once in a while you've got all the academic look going, but then all of a sudden you have things like this, and you can tell I cheated with Katie because we were playing the tic-tac-toe game, so there's a little bit of whimsy in this, but they're a nice wooden piece, and I told her, I like to win. So I wait until her hand's full of the camera, and then she can't play against me, and then I win no matter what happens. But we do have some fun things like that here in Dark Academia too. I like this, the little hidden part of this box right here. So if you're not playing, or you want to pick these pieces up and put them away, you can hide them in there. Hey, you could hide all kinds of other things in here too if you wanted to. But we've got that here in Dark Academia. Some fun things, little hideaways, whether it's the books that have the little hideaway or the games that have the little hideaway. And then here we've got 3 sculpts that are new. I'm positive these exclusives coming from Melrose are going to be in our top sellers. Look at this rabbit here. He is an enchanted figure. He has been out in the woods. I can just see him sitting with his back against a tree, can't you? You just imagine it immediately when you see him. But he's got his glasses on because he's intelligent, and he's reading his book. He's got his legs crossed. He's taking it easy. But then we all have something fun. We have a squirrel. I mean, come on, squirrels are just fun, right? Every time you see a squirrel, you think, oh, kind of fun. And he's got his glasses on. He's reading a book, a very nice bronzed piece and sculpt. These are going to be fun pieces for you. These are also priced fantastically for you. I think you're going to love having these. But not everything's nice and roses when you're talking about fantasy fiction, right? So we also have to have the bad guy, and he's the wolf usually, the big bad wolf. And so we do have the wolf sculpt. I love him because he's dark. He's moody. And he is enchanted, and he is reading his book, and he also has his glasses with him. Everything we're going to find here, everything that we have here in Dark Academia, whether it's the candle holders, the greenery, there's just going to be a little bit of an edge. So you have that fantasy part to it, but you have that little bit of that moody edge that's a little bit dark, a little bit Gothic. You can kind of think and imagine in your mind an old antique library that has all those nice rich wood tones and dark colors, but at the same time with the antique bronze. It's modern. And so everything here is very, very modern, and it has to be crisp, and it has to be able to personify that as well. We have some new lanterns for you. These are coming in that nice darker wood tone. So look at that wood tone right there. So maybe 5 years ago, all of our lanterns had that nice whitewashed wood to them. Now we're seeing this darker color. And so if you're looking for some new lanterns for yourself, they've got a little bit of an edge, a little bit of burnishing on the tops of the black. And then they're glass paneled. They open from the front. You can put some nice artichoke greenery and a new bundle that we have that we're going to show you on the shelf in a clear way in just a second. So we're going to move over to the shelving area and show you some of our new bookends that we have here in Dark Academia. You might recognize these birds because do you remember probably the last 10 years, if you go to Holiday, it's sold in Holiday, we have a piece that's called Birds on Branch. It's got 4 birds and it's a branch. We sell it usually with our Frosted Champagne collection, I know is where it is if you want to go order that right now. But these bookends are nice heavy bookends, but they have the birds on the branch in a bookend. It's perfect. It's got that nice burnished look to it on the outside of that, as well as instead of being just a flat white or something that would have been popular a few years ago, we've got that nice bronzish color. This next shelf down, this is the second trend I really want you to watch for as you're shopping through all of market, and that is the contrast trend. And so we're seeing things like soft And I'm just going to grab this right here. It's soft and textured that you see here with this nice fern. This is a texture contrast to this. So this is a nice high gloss, high sheen, durable surface right next to something that is very soft, touchable, and has layers of texture. And so that is something that you want to look for as you're shopping at market, is finding those products that have both of those. And these mushrooms here on the end, I'm going to pick this up too so that you can see this nice and clearly. We've got this wood tone here at the bottom, but at the top we've got that nice gloss and glazing. I call this the super shine. We have the super shine finish on the top of those mushrooms. And mushrooms, okay, they're enchanted. You're going to find them in the woodland forest, right? But it's having that difference that really makes that trend. Down here we also have an exclusive part of the pattern with Melrose tray. You're going to find exclusives for Melrose throughout the showroom. This pattern right here is what we're talking about. This is a Melrose pattern. But then we have this piece. And again, nice super shine tray, but the softy soft. And so this is the Real Touch artichoke. I love this one. If you're looking for something that you're going to pop in and maybe you don't want an orb, maybe you don't want something that's a fern, the artichoke, look at the color. The edges of that are just got that nice burnt color there, a little bit rosy. Beautiful, beautiful piece there. And then this bundle. This bundle is something. It's got 2 pieces of the artichoke. It's got some berries. It's got the sedum, the unopened sedum heads here. And then we also have, I'm going to turn it just a little, the green hydrangea. And so we have a lot of these Real Touch hydrangeas that are coming in. They feel very, very nice, but this one happens to be the green. I'm going to open it up here just so you can see it with a little bit of that touch of warmth of that rose right in the center there. Very pretty, but again, the artichoke really sells it for me. That is a really cool bundle that they're bringing in for Melrose. We're going to keep going across here on these new shelves that we have for dark academia. You're going to see those dark colors. You're going to see those burnt golds. And then you're going to get into the bronzes. And so the bronze colors come into play. Things that just have a little bit of that dark, dark, dark green or that dark, dark brown, but has a little bit of metallic accent with it. Our new angel here at the top, she starts with copper at the bottom, moves into that bronze. We get into these dark colors, and she's holding this really nice leaf here. You kind of get the idea that it might be something that collects water that she's holding with her hands. The cloches with the mushrooms are really something. These are a glass cloche and a resin mushroom inset. Really neat and unique. They almost look like they're lit, but they're actually just the way that they're made. I think they're very cool. First thing I saw when I came in, I thought it actually was a light, but it's actually a sculpt. It is not lit, but it just has that look to it. So I think that's something you guys are really going to love. And then just the finish on some of these new lanterns. This bronzish color, lots of nice texture. Again, we're seeing texture that you run your finger across, and then the nice shiny candle piece that is on the inside there for your candle holder. Contrast. So we're seeing the contrast there between the rough surface here and the texture and the nice smooth cylinder that is on the inside. That is trending. That is very, very hot. We've got a couple other candle holders here on this top shelf. We've got a couple of taper candle holders. They are holding Fiowick candle tapers. If you did not buy those at Holiday, you're going to want to get those because those come to you in the white, the ivory, and the red, and those are fantastic new taper candles. And then when we slide down just a little bit, we're going to see a couple more sets of the bookends that we have available. The mushrooms, these mushrooms look completely different than the ones that I just showed you. These have a very modern finish on the top, but if you look at them closely, you see that down at the bottom, we've got that bronze color, and then as we go to the top of the mushroom, it lightens up quite a bit, and we see that gold. Very elegant, very sophisticated bookends. My daughter and I are book lovers. We buy books all the time. We collect books. One of the things that I know about decorating my bookshelves, and I have, 8 bookshelves just full of books in my house, and I think she has about the same thing. We're always looking for decor that goes on the bookshelves, but we're also looking for bookends, and one thing that you want to watch for is making sure that they're heavy enough to actually hold the books. So if you're going to put them there, you want to make sure they've got a little bit of weight. The mushrooms had that nice L pattern. Anytime you get something with an L, it's actually going to hold your books very nicely. But these kitty cats, a lot of people like to just collect anything that's a cat, and so it's got that bronze color that's trending, but also the fact that they're nice and heavy, they are going to hold your books very nicely. We're going to see a few other things as we slide across, including another set of new lanterns that came in, and these lanterns are very unique because they are in all black, including the black glass panel that is ridged along the front. So that is a nice glass panel across the front. They come in 2 different sizes for those lanterns. Very unique, modern, elegant, sophisticated, and moody for sure. Now this candle holder that's right next to it, check out these rivets. So we've got that bronzed look on the rivets that are coming through, the darker wood, but it's framed. The entire candle holder itself is framed and framed out with a little bit of that black right on the outside edge, and just how tall and linear this is. This is a very nice candle holder. The designers popped in just a little piece of a branch that I'm going to talk about towards the end of this walk. We're going to go through all of the botanicals that are available for you this season, and that's where you're going to see where the full branch happens to be. Taper candles still are going up in our trends. We're going to continue to see that for everyday and for holiday. This is a new taper candle holder. It holds 5, very sophisticated with the different wood blocks in there. They do pop in and out. So the different dark wood color, and you can take these in or out of this nice tray. It does have a nice little knob here. Some more candle holders here in the back. I kind of like how they put the round candle with that. And then some more characters, and these just happen to be in a lighter color bronze. They look a little bit aged, and they are some rabbits that are holding here with some fern pieces that we had a little bit of that greenery that we popped inside of there, but 2 L-shaped bookends in here in Dark Academia. And then I discovered in the last video that I did, these are squirrels, so they are holding these little test tubes here. Very academic, right? These are intelligent squirrels. They've got test tubes with them. But they are holding them. They've got a lot of detail across the body. And then curled up here in this one's tail is the end of this nice test tube that's coming through. And this one is clutching it. Oh, I just moved it. Clutching it in its hands. I'm going to turn it. Okay, turning this way. There we go. And he's clutching that test tube in his hands there. And that can hold any kind of little scrap of any little piece that you want in that vase. We've got some other planters. I showed you the first book planter. This is the second one where the books are stacked this way. All kinds of things you could put inside of here. And we do have one other candle holder that is new here on the wall that I want to point out to you. And it holds 3. And of course, you're probably going to put pillar candles there, but that's in a nice iron look there on the wall. Now, if you've been following Ken is our top designer. He has a fantastic design team. He puts out back to the basics videos for you all the time. And he did a video with this candle holder that is phenomenal. And he did it with butterfly sprays all woven throughout here, and everybody went crazy for it. When can I get that candle holder? When can I get that candle holder? Well, he kind of did it a little ahead of market. And so he did that this past spring, but the video is available for you to watch. I guarantee you this candle holder is going to be in our top sellers because of what he was able to do with that with the butterfly sprays. It is beautiful to see that. We have some new, and this is another one where it's showing contrast. We have the contrast in texture. We have this nice, beautiful glossy end for these coasters. And then this part here is a wood finish, but it is embossed across the ferns. And so very elegant, very sophisticated coaster set in just the right tones with that texture contrast. On the table behind us, we do have a couple more, I was going to say that these are vases, but they're going to hold some botanicals for you in a nice iron piece with the wood. I do like these. They go very well with the squirrels. And then we have these lanterns here in the back that have that good rich wood tone with the black. Now we're going to move into a different section of Dark Academia. When we move around this corner, we're going to see a lot more botanicals, starting with this first magnolia spray. It's a shorter spray, but they did something really fantastic with a shelf topper with this one, so I want to make sure that you get an eye full of this as you're filling out your botanical order and we move through this section. The other one I want you to see before we get to the botanical wall is this one up here at the top. Now you may remember we did a video with the snowball pieces that came out last year that was our top seller. And one of the things that people really liked about that was the curvature of the branch. And so it had a lot of movement with the branches, and then it had the small little pieces. Look at the cut value on that branch. That branch is exceptional. I think that is going to be one that is a standout by the time we get done with our markets. I do like the green. I do like that little warm, kind of a warm white that's on there too, but I think it's the actual curvature of the branches that are going to make that really trend for you and something that you want to work with. As we come to this shelf set, we have a couple more new lanterns here. These open from the front that are black, very linear. We're seeing a lot of linear new lanterns this year. The wreath on the back is green on green. Now look at the depth of all of those green colors. So we've got green and green, we've got berries, we've got leaves, we've got a few little branch pieces that are sticking out a little bit wild. This is where we really start to get into that enchanted look. And so it's just a little wild, a little out there. You can bend those any direction that you want, but that kind of ties into dark academia being something that is an enchanted thing. These candle holders here in the front also have the Fia wick that is the round and ivory, but these have a dark green glazed, that heavy glazing here, but it looks wooden. This is a resin. So as I tap that, this is definitely a resin piece here with the base down at the bottom. We have some containers and vases here that are holding our orchid pieces, and also I just like the green. Look at that nice green with this cracked piece. You know, it looks like the cracked ceramic, but it's glazed all the way over the top. If I run my finger over here, I can feel just a little bit of a ridge. You can't really see it, but you can definitely feel it when you go to touch that piece. We're going to talk more about the orchids here in just a couple seconds, but there's two different types of orchids that came in, and I'm going to share both of those with you in depth in just a moment. Here are our containers that match the vases. How many times do you say to us, we need more containers, please, Melrose, bring us more trending containers? And so that is what we have done. These are flat on the surface. They do not have, sometimes you'll see containers with some legs on the bottom of those. Those do sit flat. And then we have them in a little bit larger vase here with the bronze color and with the green. And then we have these trays that are new. And so the trays have a lot of texture. I definitely like to rub my finger along this because every one of these lines I can feel under the glazing. So it's glazed heavily, beautiful. It reflects all kinds of light. You can see that right here. You can just see that it's reflecting. Beautiful tray in two different sizes for these leaves. Good coloring for those that are new. Good length for them. I mean, those are nice accent pieces. The aesthetics are perfect for that. But also, I just like that texture. All those different little pieces of texture work very nicely together. Now we're back to the orchids. And so on this back table, Katie is going to show you the second type of orchid. We had on the front table the green and in a couple of our other containers, but this one is the pink. And so they're opposites of each other. The other one is mostly green leaves with a little bit of the pink on the throat. These happen to be the pink with a little bit of the green on the stem and on the pod that comes out. They coordinate. They're opposite of each other. Both, I think, are going to be trending new botanicals. Here's another reason why I like them so much. I grab a hold of them like this and I can squeeze them. They are the real feel, and so it doesn't really matter what I do to them. I mean, it might be a challenge. I might just try to challenge myself just to see, can I really squish them up good? But they just bounce right back. And so these have excellent durability with that real feel on both of these types of the orchids that are available. On this shelf down below, these are my favorite new friends. I mean, of all of the friends that I have here in Dark Academia, these sophisticated little foxes. I just love their dainty little faces. They have great pointed little faces, nice and smooth. The coloring is good. It's got several different types of colors of brown and bronze in there. The other thing I really like about them is they're bookends, or are they? So if you notice that these don't have the L on them, but you definitely could use these as bookends, but you could also just sell these as sculpts. And so I think that flexibility with this design is another reason why we're going to have these guys definitely in our bestseller list at the end of Everyday 2026 show market. We're going to slide over now to the botanical wall, and the botanical wall is loaded. We talked a little bit about the enchantment that you're going to find in Dark Academia. 2 years ago, Ken and I were in Las Vegas, and I remember talking about that wicked vine that we came up with for Melrose and how amazing it was to work with it. Do you remember he put that across that gazebo and that table topper and made that incredible piece? If you missed that, go to YouTube, watch that video, just type right in there, Enchanted Forest Vine, because that was one of our best sellers for that year. I mean, we just, whew, it was crazy. But that was the start of Dark Academia. That was the start of bringing in that type of look and working with that. And so that is a piece that we've expanded on, and we brought in some additional pieces that I'm going to show you in just a moment that are moss colored just like that. You're going to find moss mats from us. You're going to find moss covered orbs from us. You're going to see this new gorgeous pillar that has the mushrooms on it too. But you're also going to see branches and leaf sets and sprays and stems and ferns, and we have a lot of them here on this wall. On the branches, there are two sets coming in. The top one is a little bit darker than the bottom one, so that's the real difference that you're going to find there. And then you get into this tri-colored leaf branch spray. This is gorgeous. And so all of those colors are there. We've got the bronze color, we've got that dark burnt orange, we've got that nice green color. This is gorgeous in designs. We've got some of the greenery that you're seeing that's really popping and blending. So we're going to be able to blend some of these fern pieces that have all of these little tendrils that are coming off. But the other thing that's really important here is making sure that you realize what's extra. And so like this piece right here, we've got all the leaves and we've got the branch coloring. And so the branch does have a lot of detail here, but then we have the moss on the outside of the branch itself. It just gives you a lot to work with as a designer, and that gives you a lot of value for the things that you're creating and putting together. Do you remember the wreath on the wall with the green on green? Well, if you're looking for a spray or to go with that, we have this one here that's got the larger berry, the smaller berry, and the actual leaf too. And so I love it. I love when we have this little wild looking stuff coming out at the same time that you can work with. And I like the touch of everything. And so these are new pieces that we have. And again, the real touch. And they're wired. So I think I did this in the last video. I moved it around. But then look at this. You think that it's going to be like firm and hard and a branch and you're not going to be able to do anything with it. But you can actually squeeze this and move this around. And so this is an expansion of everything that we saw with the Enchanted forest vine. Look at this new piece that is structured like that. So this is a phenomenal piece that is coming through. They'll call it a twig garland. You're going to find it in dark academia, but it's moss covered. And all the coloring and the painting and the detail coming down on this branch. Beautiful, beautiful piece. I know for a fact this is one that everybody is going to want to have in their order. You can get a wreath like this. You can get a spray, a branch. We have this really large branch here, and we have this smaller one. The smaller one is actually 35 inches, if I'm reading that correctly. That's going to be tip to tip, so the very longest. For the most part, you're looking at, a couple feet here for the big branchy part, and then the tendrils are coming off. And there are 3 other products that we want to make sure you absolutely see here in Dark Academia before we finish up, and they are these 3 pieces of butterflies on glass. They're actually behind the glass. So if I took my nail and I ran it right across the glass is smooth, the butterfly is actually behind. It has this nice aged gold on it, but the other part that's really unique about these 3 different butterflies, first, they're beautiful. I just absolutely love them, and they're perfect for Dark Academia. But the fact that you can take it out of the stand. And so you have the glass piece like this, and then if you want, you can put it right inside of the wooden stand, just like that. We have lots of different bookends here. We have lots of different pieces and sculpts that you can put inside of your Dark Academia library. It's moody, it's intelligent, it's enchanted, and it is fun. We want to thank you for joining us here for Dark Academia in our Dallas showroom. If you're still planning to go to Atlanta or Las Vegas, you have time to set your appointment. And if you happen to be one of those people that had some of your orders with a different company canceled, or you want to just add to your holiday order, this week here in Dallas and through the end of June, we are taking holiday orders and offering that dating program. Of course, you have to have a pre-approved application for that, but you're going to be able to order your product, get it in August and September, and then you're not going to make your payment until December 1st. We love having you here with us here at Market. Join us for the next collections for trending merchandise from Melrose.